Hi everyone, I am Sarkantar. I'm a sophomore computer engineering student in METU. Today, I will explain and introduce a topic which is pretty much related to art history of Turkish nation. Those who watch this presentation may have already started to guess art or Turkish nation, maybe calligraphy or divan poetry or something. Sorry, no, it's much bigger than them. It consists of colors, structures, geometrical shapes, huge amount of mass, and it uses different kinds of materials. Tata. It's architecture, and naturally in Turkey. Today, in this presentation, I will focus on two main architectural movements in the history of Turkish Republic, which are First National Architectural Movement and Second National Architectural Movement. Here is my guideline, table of contents. As an introduction part, conditions of the period, a rising nation. And then I will continue with First National Architectural Movement, then Second National Architectural Movement. At the end, there's a summary and conclusion part. Um, Introduction part, conditions of the period, a rising nation. Let me give you a quick historical background about the foundation of Turkish Republic. In this way, we can understand national architectural movements better. In in 1920s, new nations were born from the ashes of Ottoman Empire. The government should have rebuilt the nation, but how? In which way? The young nation must have its own way. It should have go back to its roots, go get it, and create a new way with regarding contemporary methods and modern techniques. It also must build the necessary buildings, such as public buildings, infrastructures, which will be the new face of the modern government. From all these requirements and ideological needs, new national architecture movement have emerged. We will begin with the first one. First national architectural movement, also called as National Architectural Renaissance or Turkish Neoclassical Architecture. It was the most prevalent style, architectural style, starting from 1908 and remaining until the end of 30s. It was highly influenced by classical Ottoman elements and Seljuk architecture as a Turkish element. It also uses the basic elements of neoclassical and neo-Renaissance style from Western civilization. And according to architectural historians, Akdemir and Arslan, with this movement, it was aimed at Turkish element, cultural Turkish element, come back to design and construction and create more national style instead of directly copying Western style. So, policymakers of the period promoted mix of them. Here is now to understand it better, we will analyze an iconic building which is one of the most important structures of this movement. Here is figure 1, Istanbul Grand Post Office. While analyzing it, we will make use of architectural interpretation of Yıldırım Yavuz. According to him, Ottoman features were used in this building, such as two-color stonework and Islamic geometric patterns. As you can see, turquoise blue color is used for Islamic geometric patterns, also known as Turkish style. And you can easily see that neoclassical influences in this building, such as modern apartment shape and Corinthian columns. As you can see, three of Corinthian columns are visible. Now that we have examined the example, we can move on to the next topic, second national architectural movement, also called as New Regionalism. Second national architectural movement was started towards end of 30s and lost until 1950. First of all, let me very briefly explain you to political atmosphere in this year in order to understand the movement better. In 30s, extreme national ideologies and totalitarian ideals were on the rise all around the world. And according to Ergut, in totalitarian regimes, monumental and symmetric building structures were built to represent the power of the government. And generally, nationalistic motives are used. As he states, Turkish government was highly influenced by these trendy ideas. Second national architectural movement was born in the light of these ideas. So, in 40s, architectural focus has shifted from Ottoman Sultanate structures and Seljuk style to Anatolian civil architecture as Turkish elements. And instead of neoclassical and neo-Renaissance style, traditional Turkish housing architecture and modern totalitarian architectural techniques were taken as models, as Western influence. Figure 2. Let us have a look at one of the most impressive structure constructed in this style. Istanbul University Faculty of Arts and Sciences building. The most distinctive feature of it, it is symmetrical and monumental. It has a huge mass, as you can see, and then it reminds us totalitarian style. On the other hand, in some details, we can see traditional Anatolian residential style. In some respects, such as eaves, as you can see the eaves, and window to wall ratio. These reminds us Anatolian residential style. After seeing the example, we are getting closer to the end of the presentation. To summarize what we have learned, we first had a quick introduction to the topic. We talk about the conditions of the period and historical background of foundation of Turkish Republic, and then we understood the main features of first movement, such as Ottoman and Seljuk architectural elements as Turkish element and as Western influences, neoclassical style and neo-Renaissance style. And then we saw an example. We reviewed the example, Istanbul Grand Post Office. And after that, we talk about the historical situation in 30s and how it led second national movement to be born. Moreover, we have examined both nationalistic and modern totalitarian characteristic of this movement. And we saw this characteristic on an example, Istanbul University Faculty of Arts and Sciences building. So I get to end of my presentation. Here is my references and product credits. Thank you for listening to me.